Deaf. Deaf.
Deaf.
Deaf. Deaf. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deaf by Daylight. My name is Josh Marin. Oh, fuck, we weren't doing last names. That's alright. That's the first time I've ever made that mistake. Welcome to episode 7. Thanks for joining us. We very sincerely appreciate it. And today we have a special theme, I guess, that we've been talking to you about all week. We know it's been a long week in the quarantine, as every week is. This one probably a little bit more so than every other week. But anyway, we'll get to that. Tonight, we've got Ernie.
Hello.
We've got Jay Texas.
What's going on? My name's also Jesus Smith.
And we've got Juan.
We've got one.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe
All
we
right. Maybe
It's Jesus Smith.
What up?
Juan's going to be in and out. This is our first podcast without Darren. Sadly, he is back to work on the front lines at International in El Paso, Texas. If you'd like to go get a drink from him, he would appreciate that. Make sure you tip well. Be safe. Wear your mask, for God's sake. Tonight we're going to be going east, far, far east, to the magical land of Japan. We've got some real life stuff. We've got some movies for you, and some other cool stuff we're going to talk about. And we will get to that, but first let's hear what everybody's drinking, and then we're going to have a new kind of twist to Darren's segment. We wish that Darren could do it, but unfortunately his first night back he's just too busy, so... Ernie, why don't you tell us what you're drinking, bud?
So I'm drinking a ranch water, and I am shooting a lunchbox.
Lunchbox is absolutely delicious, and we will get to that in a second. Jesus, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a Tokyo tea today in regards for our Japanese theme.
Ooh.
And then I know I lost the bet for the 50 likes on our Instagram.
So you're gonna be shooting snack decks.
I'm gonna be shooting bullet, and so I can make sure that I am extra toasty, like I promised in the comment. I will take 2 shots for every kill, or what is it? It's 1 shot for every 2 kills. So I'll take 2 shots for every 2 kills, in the gaming segment. This
So a shot a kill, essentially.
Shot a kill, yes.
Excellent. That sounds fantastic. Juan has already told us that he's not drinking tonight. As much of a bummer that is, but, you know, we've all got responsibilities and things of that nature. And now we are going to be going more into what snack decks are. Hopefully he'll answer his goddamn phone. I am going to warn you, it's going to be loud. We're going to go ahead and talk to Matty Ice Cold down at Chino Chido on Cincinnati Street. He's a fantastic bartender who's also won all sorts of competitions and awards, and he is going to talk to you more about lunch boxes. We're going to get him on the phone here. This is going to be our new bartender segment. We're going to let all of our bartender friends tell you about drinks that they make. This is kind of awkward, but we've got to wait for him to answer.
Hello?
Carnal,
Hey, what's up, player?
what's going on? Can you tell all the good people at home about a lunchbox?
Or snack deck.
Lunchbox.
Yeah, how do you make it? Where did it come from? Do you like it? No? Nope, he hung up.
What?
All right. Yeah.
I felt like it was one of those segments where you're on, what's that fucking, with Regis, like for $1 million, they're like, all right, Dad, guess what? I need help on this answer. I'd like to phone a friend, please.
I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm going to call him back, but... Nope. It's been forwarded to a voicemail box. Well, that was an absolute gigantic failure. And that's all right.
So, it's all right. So look, so everyone knows what goes into this fucking Tokyo tea. What I decided to drink today. I feel like I'm 21 again. It's tequila, rum, sour mix, soda water, all in one. And I made it a double. So let's see how close we get.
That's 6 ounces of alcohol. You're fucking gonna die.
And this is second one. All right. So, cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. So everyone listening at home, if you did not see us earlier in the week on Instagram, we posted a picture of how fucking drunk Jesus got last week, and he said if that picture got 50 likes, he would get that drunk again. And well, it got 50 likes, everybody.
Yeah, we were able to cash in a bet that Ernie owns somebody and get to 50 likes. That brings us a great opportunity to go ahead and tell you that you can follow us everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, at Deaf by Daylight. And we're happy to have you here. If you would like a shout out in the chat, if you would like to tell us what you're drinking, if you would like to discuss something that we're discussing, please let us know down in the comments. I will be making that announcement several more times throughout the episode. But for right now, that's good enough. Let's go ahead and get into the drinking game, since our bartender segment did not go well. But Jesus is a bartender and his other wife, so he did just fine there with the Tokyo tea. 6 ounces of alcohol, people. That's no fucking joke, even for heavyweights such as ourselves.
Oh, you're calling me fat, huh?
No, I'm calling all of us fat, except for Juan, who doesn't drink anyway. So,
that's a compliment. I actually really appreciate that. That makes me feel good about myself.
Well,
it shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
Fuck.
So I've just gotten a text message from our dear friend. We're gonna try this one more time while Ernie gets his loading screen going.
so I can leave the lobby real quick so that way we can get this.
Yeah, we're gonna. Hey, we're gonna try this one more time. I guess it was supposed to be lunch boxes, but either one, whichever one you want, and whichever one you like better. I mean, lunch boxes or snack decks. And you can tell the good people at home.
Sure, I'll tell you both. Okay.
Yes.
Lunchbox is typically the way, or at least the way I like to make it. You're gonna do an ounce of orange juice, an ounce of amaretto or Southern Comfort, and then you just toss that bad boy into like a pint glass of Lone Star. I like it with Lone Star personally, but you can really any kind of domestic beer.
Delicious.
Now, snack backs, that's my jam. I make those with plantation pineapple, simple syrup, lime juice, and I like to do it with Angostura bitters. And that's typically the recipe for a daiquiri, but I'm an alcoholic, so I shoot 'em as shots.
We all are alcoholics. Why don't you tell people where they can find you, promote your bar, and tell people where they can tip you at?
As of late, you can catch me at Murray's on the east side on George Dieter and at Chino Chido on Cincinnati.
Thank you, Ice Cold. Good luck tonight with the bars opening up.
Yeah, dude, it's going to be a shit show. I'm not excited, but...
Well, good luck.
Here.
Good luck, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys.
All right, laters. All right, that was Matty Ice Cold. You heard where you can find him, both at Murray's on the east side. That is George Dieter and Vista del Sol. You can also catch him on the west side on Cincinnati Street at Chino Chido. We're going to go ahead and get into the drinking game. Ernie's going to get into that load screen if he's not already. He's not. I just got back on the screen. So for everybody back home, you at home, every 2 kills is a drink. Every 2 hooks is a shot. Every hook, you can take a drink. Jesus is going to be taking a shot for every single kill because he lost a bet. And that's it. That's all the rules. Again, tell us what you're drinking. Tell us what you want to talk about. Tell us how we're doing, how your day was.
Everyone
We don't give a
escapes
fuck.
tonight.
Well, I don't, because I really like a drink. As
my
a
best.
matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and take a drink, an unruly drink, outside of the boundaries of the game before we start, because I'm fucking thirsty.
So, did anyone get that feel from when we called Matt right now from that fucking Drake song? Are you drunk right now? I'm just saying you could do better.
No, what I got was a defeated man having to drag himself into work to fuel the corporate machine.
Some
Go
funny little backstory on the spirit. She looks creepy as hell, right? Like, she was this girl that was going to school and shit, and her parents were like, they weren't rich, you know? And her mother fell ill, so she had to start working so she can support going to school since they had to pay for it. Her father had to work double jobs. He ended up getting fired, and she came home one day, and her name is Rin, R-I-N, by the way. And she heard her mother scream. She went upstairs and saw her body mutilated into bits and pieces.
Jesus.
And as soon as she turned, she saw her father swinging a fucking, what are those big swords called again? The
Samurai sword.
Broadsword, katana.
The katana, there you go. A katana right at her. She blocked it with her arm.
Can
And
you really block a katana?
well, she did. And
Not according to Kill Bill.
she tries running away and shit, and he keeps hacking at her. He ends up catching her, throwing her through this glass, pane. She falls all over it and gets all this glass over her. He ends up getting to her, hacking her to bits and pieces. The entity called upon her so she can get her revenge. And that's how she got here.
Oh, shit.
That's very fucking dark.
If you look at her
Freddy's
arms-
here. On a less dark note, what's up, Freddy? Happy to have you, bud. Luckily, you haven't missed the drinking game, so we're just getting started on that now. A lot of really dark stuff in the Japanese stuff we're going over today, particularly brutal stuff, and also there's a distinct difference between what we call ghosts and what they call ghosts, which I'm trying to remember the exact name right now, but apparently their ghosts are a lot more sinister. Like, we can have passive spirits and shit. It's not the way it works over there. If you're a ghost, you're pretty evil. I almost want to say it's called a Yajin, but I'm not 100% positive. We've already got a hook. Jesus. That was fast. Have you been practicing?
No.
Bullshit. Ah, fucking. That was a rookie move right there. Come on now. So, before we go into everything, I guess we'll talk a little bit about Japan and serial killers. And are we gonna do this now, or are we gonna wait till this game's over?
No, we're gonna wait till the game's over.
Well, you already know it. It's hitting me where I'm like, yeah, let's just jump into this.
I don't give a fuck what the game plan is. I'm fucking done with it. Yeah, we're not there quite yet. But we will be jumping into Japanese serial killers. We will be jumping into yurei, which are Japanese ghosts. We'll be jumping into the suicide forest, which is fucking... If you're here for no other reason, stick around for the suicide forest. It is one of the creepiest places on Earth, I imagine. I really fucking want to go there. And I'm pretty excited about it. Freddy says, that's what I love about spirits. Every culture region has a different interpretation and origin. That is absolutely true. We're definitely going to get into the Korean Jin. That's their spirit interpretation. We're going to get into all sorts of cultures eventually. And Andrew says hi. I imagine specifically to Ernie, but to all of us as well.
Talking about Jin.
J-I-N, not G-I-N, but please continue.
I'm drinking some Freezy juice, which
Freezel
is
juice.
some Bombay and lemonade. It is absolutely fucking delicious now.
Yeah, definitely our dear friend Efren just one day magically poured some gin, which he loved drinking straight, by the way, which is always weird to me, but just poured some Bombay into some lemonade and made one of the most delicious drinks ever, and we still drink a ton of it because it's great. Juan, you have said almost nothing. What's going on over there, buddy?
I am currently crying thinking about going to the suicide forest. And no, I'm just listening to you, to your wonderful voice right now.
Thank you, Juan.
I'm actually wishing that I had some alcohol now, even though I told myself I wasn't gonna drink.
That's what we tell ourselves every weekend, bro.
Yep. So now I'm like, damn.
So this is definitely a fucking Survivor Friends stack, and they're fucking annoying.
Like they're all playing together. That's what that means.
Yeah.
Isn't that how you guys play most of the time?
Yeah.
I know. Judging them even though we do it.
I mean, if I was gonna play, that's the only way I would play. Fuck getting killed and like people being shitty survivors all the time. I deal with enough of that in Smite.
Usually when we do it, it's interesting. We need to have something where we actually all play it. We'll do that for another time.
This is not going well. This guy, that guy had all the maneuvers. Let me say, looks like Bo Jackson out there.
They're pretty good, not gonna lie.
Rex, well, I don't think I'm taking a shot tonight.
Tonight at all? I doubt it.
Well, I mean, if at this rate, right? Look at Ernie getting fucking wrecked.
What's up, Megan and Luis and Violet? They're out there. They just commented. I don't know how to say this. Oryx the Nobody. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. If you're drinking at home, let us know what you're drinking. Just because we want ideas. We just want to know what our crowd likes, and that way maybe we'll drink a little bit.
Watch this right now, guys. Like, you'll see why I say they're Survivor Friends.
Did anyone try any of those semen drinks that we were talking about a few weeks ago?
Yeah, if you tried any of the semen drinks, definitely let us know.
I had one earlier. Just a little salty.
Did you use your own semen?
I had to. I mean, I wanted. Well, it was a margarita with the salted rim, so you know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't, because I'm not disgusting. So, but I'm sure it was good for you. If you're drinking your own semen and you don't like the taste, that means that you need to do something to your diet or to your lifestyle that changes that around. I mean, it's all in your power.
I drink the pineapple juice like recommended. You know?
Andrew says, "What the fuck?" Yes, we know. We have a dear friend, Caesar, that recommended to us a book that is full of drinks where you can make cocktails with your own semen. Of course, none of us have tried it. I mean, maybe Jesus isn't lying, but I certainly hope he is. That's what the fuck, Andrew. That's what we're talking about.
It's how you make a cocktail, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's how you give your cock a tail, is that you drink your own semen. Ernie is having a very, very hard time, which means that we're all sober.
Yeah, this SWF is like fucking gnarly.
I have to drink just because I'm fucking thirsty. No shots though.
Look how they're protecting this person over here.
I see how they're protecting them. Kill the fucking person in front of them.
So I guess until we get a kill here or two, just to preview some of the other things we're going to talk about tonight. And I know I just told listeners not to do this, but this was before this started turning into a train wreck. We're going to talk about some serial killers. Really too heavily, and you know what? If there was going to be like a subtitle to this week's episode, it would be Japan/suicide, because a lot of what we're talking about today has to do with suicide. The Suicide Forest. There's a serial killer who was baiting people into committing suicide, There's the movie The Forest is about, obviously, the suicide forest, but has elements of suicide. And then we're talking about a classic J-horror movie called Suicide Club. One of the most infamous Japanese horror movies ever made, and one of the most infamous movies, I think, period. I think people really, really love it as a B movie. So that's what you have to look forward to once we're done with the quote-unquote drinking game.
It is going terribly for me today.
We're also going to be talking about your favorite Suicide Boys songs.
Oh, say less. No, not actually say less. It's a podcast. So say something for God's sake.
Say more. Josh, what would you go with? Favorite Suicide Boys song?
Favorite Suicide Boy song for me is going to be Muddy Blunts. But Low Key is up there. Running Through the Seventh is up there. Kill Yourself is up there. They just have a lot of really fucking great songs, Suicide Boys. As a matter of fact, if we were at Mucky Duck right now, we would have Suicide Boys on the jukebox. And we'd be bumping that shit real hard, drinking some $1 Long Island iced teas, and getting some very, very toasty with our dear friend Isabel.
Who doesn't know we exist?
I like Aliens Are Ghosts too. Rippity dippity, rippity dippity.
Oh no! What about you, Jesus? Favorite Suicide Boys song?
Got one kill.
That's not a kill, it's a hook.
That's a kill.
It's a hook and a kill?
Yeah.
Okay, Jesus, I'm gonna take a shot with you, buddy.
Okay.
So everyone back home, if you want to take a celebratory shot,
I'll take a swig of water.
Oh, excellent, Juan. Everybody loves to party with water.
Some water.
All kidding aside, if you are
what
drinking,
the hell? I'll have a Pepsi.
and you want to drink responsibly, make sure you are drinking water with your alcohol.
Alrighty. Well,
you ready, buddy?
Yeah, here's to fucking Ernie getting fucking wrecked on, killing my
Here's
buzz.
to Ernie getting wrecked on and killing our buzz. Love it. Love
He'll get a redemption
Cheers,
match
boys.
like I did when I tried playing as a nurse.
Yeah, but are we gonna keep drinking during that match?
We probably should. Well, y'all probably should.
Oh yeah, it's easy to say when you're not fucking drinking there, eh, bud?
It's easy to say when you're not drinking your own semen, you motherfucker.
that was the bet the whole time, that if Jesus lost, he had to drink his own semen.
I remember taking a shot.
Your own semen?
And like the shot was no. Like the shot was basically like a sperm cell.
What?
It was for like a the shot came in a little container that was basically a sperm cell. Yeah.
So someone came in your mouth and it was basically a sperm cell.
It doesn't help that Juan works at a porn shop, guys.
Oh yeah. That let's just tell everybody where he works.
Y'all need a sale on some dildos.
I mean, we told them where Darren and Matt work, so I guess if you need dildos or...
We literally had a whole segment on the hospice killer, which is fucking Jesus, so...
Alright, so let's talk about what Japanese dildo products do you guys?
They were all
I've
rank
only
one.
seen those dragon dicks. That's all I've seen. Or those, I don't want to go into detail about where I've seen them, but I have seen them being used quite vigorously.
Quite vigorous.
If you guys didn't notice, they were all rank ones except for one of them.
Oh shit! Honestly, dude, you got one kill on a bunch of ones. You know, I always say 4 ones is better than 110.
Who's your go-to killer, typically?
Legion.
Legion.
Well, you will get to play as Legion.
Hey, don't spoil, you motherfucker. Easy there, bud. Okay, so now that that's over, Ernie's gonna keep playing.
Yeah, Ernie.
I'm on Survivor though, because
He's gonna do Survivor. So the way that'll work is if he gets out, we'll take another shot. Maybe
I guess I'll take 2 shots. I guess.
maybe we'll take a little break shot here or something. I'll figure it out. But I gotta drink more. So let's go ahead and get into our topics today. Instead of doing all serial killers first and then getting into the movies, since we kind of did our research a little scattered, we're gonna go movie first and then serial killer, and then we'll figure it out from there. The first movie that I would like to talk about, because it's the worst movie, but it brings us into our best topic, is The Forest. Before you get into this game, Ernie, why don't you tell us what you thought about The Forest, because I think we were all thinking the same thing.
So, it's disappointing,
Yes.
like, to say the least. But, I mean, the way that they, like, portrayed The Forest itself was kind of cool. Just the whole story about where she had to go find her twin sister because she thinks she killed herself, and the way that
Right.
it played out was just, it was too cheesy. They could have done a little bit more justice to the movie, or to The Forest itself, sorry.
Yeah.
It doesn't really focus on the forest.
Yeah,
It
'cause-
focuses more on that plot that.
Which I get what they were going for, because the forest itself, it's known as the suicide forest, where people in Japan have, what is it, like millions of people go there just to commit suicide, and people
Yeah.
every day are just taking down
Not-
bodies where they hang themselves, right?
Not millions. But like the most they've ever found in 1 year is 200. But
Okay.
that's still like an absurd fucking amount compared to
Yeah.
other places in the world.
Yeah, so people basically just go there, they camp out, and they go missing, and then they find the people that basically take care of the forest. They go look around, and that's where they find people. And they even have signs, I believe, in the entrance, where it basically says that if you need help, if you need to talk to somebody, like a hotline type deal, you know?
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because that's what it's known for, unfortunately.
the forest is called Ayokigahara, and
One more time?
it is Ayokigahara.
Come again?
Ayokigahara. It is
Who said I
located
was left
at
off
the.
about bougie?
Let's do this. All right. If I could say this, I want you to pronounce it one time, Josh. If I get this right, you're taking a shot. If I get it wrong, I'll take a shot.
Bet.
I fucking love this. Okay.
Let's go.
I'm gonna-
Say it one time for me.
Fast as fuck.
Ayokigahara.
Ayuki Kahara.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. He said
No,
Gahara.
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Also,
all
you
right.
said Ayuki and it's Aoki, but that's okay.
All
We'll
right. I
move
got
forward.
a shot right here. I got a shot.
So
right
it's
here.
located.
Cheers,
Jesus Christ. So the forest is located at the foot of Mount Fuji, and it's so incredibly dense that that if you stray off the path at all, you risk a very real chance of getting lost and dying. Because it is so hard to navigate. Everywhere you look looks exactly the same. And some people say that just being in the forest is maddening in its own way because you completely lose your sense of direction and your sense of night and day and your sense of what time it is. Buddhist monks walk the forest every year trying to help bring the souls of the suicide victims to peace. Which is fucking awesome. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, people go in there looking for bodies, but these monks go in there specifically trying to help the souls. Not that if they're going to find a body, they're going to ignore it, but that's why they go in there.
I feel like they might though. Like,
No, they I mean, I know
You might
for a
just
fact they don't.
ignore it.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you're saying?
They're just going to be like, oh, there's... I'm not going to do an accent. That's super racist, but they're going to be like, oh, there's a body. We're just going to leave it there. I don't think they do that. Actually, I know that they don't because they end up finding a lot of the bodies.
oh,
Just
okay.
laugh at the situation like Logan Paul, right?
Oh, fuck,
I knew it
did
was
you really
coming.
have to
It was
do
just
that?
a matter of time.
You had to go there.
Everybody listening, yes, this is the forest Logan Paul went to, and he found a dead body hanging. That's all that we're gonna say about it.
Yeah, I mean, fuck that guy. So really cool. The movie was fucking shit. So
was
much
okay.
so that,
He's
dude.
better than La Llorona.
Yeah, that's for
Okay,
sure.
but that shouldn't be the benchmark though. That shouldn't be the benchmark. So it was almost 100% jump scares, which again
Yeah.
for me is just not the way to go about doing a horror movie. So much so that the very last scene, like the very last second of the movie, is a jump scare, which is always the cheesiest fucking possible thing to do in a horror movie. It was starring the girl that plays Marjorie Tyrell in Game of Thrones. She's a rocket. I mean, if you're gonna watch, definitely not hard on the eyes to watch that movie. I mean, but really, really just not a very good movie. The plot line, very weak. The acting, pretty weak. And then a lot of jump scares. But the forest itself, absolutely fascinating. And just really something that kind of encompasses what the Japanese culture feels about their spirits and about their dead, and kind of really gets a lot of those elements all in the same place.
Theoretically, hypothetically, whatever the fuck you want to say, if you have to kill yourself, would you do it at the forest?
Theoretically, if I had to kill myself, I would not do it at the forest, because I would have to go on a really long plane ride, and that would bother me already. I mean, I would find somewhere in the continental United States to possibly Mexico to take care of that.
I mean, I figure you might as well go to fucking Japan, eat some bomb-ass sushi, and then be like, alright, I'm about to go to this forest, and peace, y'all.
Noodles may be able to save my life. I might change my mind after having some good ramen.
That's true.
Shout out to our local ramen spot that I miss so much.
#Kaidama.
Yeah,
There's also
I've had like 3 times since this quarantine started.
good for you, Jesus. Go moving on. What were you gonna say, Juan?
oh no, that there's also a movie with Matthew McConaughey called The Sea of Trees, where it's basically it's that one's not a horror thing. It's just more of a man who wants to kill himself and he meets somebody else and whatnot. But
that's a way better movie than The Forest, if I'm being honest.
The Forest has so much potential to be a scary movie. It just falls flat, really flat.
It just flopped. And there's a lot of super Japanese stereotypes in the movie. And it's American made, so that's not good. Jude is arriving currently. We'll get his thoughts on that stuff in a bit.
Fictional Japanese fictional suicide. Damn, I keep on saying suicide.
Here we go.
Here we go. Remember Japanese, you guys want to get him drunk?
Fictional serial killers.
Hey,
Death Note, Light Yagami. What do you guys say? Is he a serial killer or not?
Hell yeah, he's a serial killer.
He's doing justice for the world.
No, but then he ends up killing his own father, and he tries to kill his own sister, and then he just kills anybody who gets in his way who isn't the killer. So
at the beginning, he's a good guy, but he
gets
in order
to
keep his power and then to keep his freedom. Once Elle starts hunting him, he
starts
into
killing
a bad
innocent
guy.
Yeah. Well, don't talk about Kira like that, okay?
Just kidding. Don't talk about. Okay, so Light is Kira. So, Oryx says 100. Hopefully he was talking about Death Note. I didn't see it until now, so hopefully he's agreeing to what we're saying about Death Note. Moving on, let's talk about some real life shit. Jude, are you here yet?
I am here.
Jude.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Nice.
So Jude is here. Oryx says that he was talking about Death Note. So yeah, I mean, pretty obvious that he's a serial killer, and that he gets far off the path once he's looking out for his own self-interest. So real life serial killers in Japan. Let's get right into. Do we want to do the suicide guy, or do we want to go do the little girl killer?
I have a question real quick. Before we jump into that, since Death Note was brought up.
Yes.
What do you guys think of the Netflix version?
Oh, it's fucking terrible.
God, garbage. Absolute garbage.
There's one good part about it. Well, there's 2 good parts about it.
I have something.
Go ahead, Juan.
No, go ahead, Ernie. I'm sorry. You're still talking.
So the dude that played L, Lakeith Stanfield, phenomenal job.
Yeah, that guy's awesome.
And Willem Dafoe. I think
Defoe!
he did a good job as well. And that's the only good parts I can say about the movie.
I was about to mention that I was shocked at how like good he was, but they fucked it up because you know how towards the end or halfway through he starts spazzing out and he gets all out of control. That's when he stopped being like Al, because Al kept his cool pretty much always throughout all the way until he died pretty much.
Yeah.
But at the beginning I was like, damn, this dude's actually doing a really damn good job, and then yeah, they fucked that up.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I really love that fucking series. I thought it was a great anime series, but the movie didn't really do it.
Have you seen the Japanese versions?
Yeah.
The
Those are
Japanese live action or the Japanese anime?
The Japanese live action.
No, I have not, unfortunately.
They actually were good. They followed the story pretty good, and there's even a third one that's about Al, but like, I mean, it's not a spoiler alert or whatever, but the way Al dies is a little bit different than in the anime, and I actually liked how they did it better.
Talk about the differences.
Well, the difference is basically Al he's still gonna die, but he doesn't die like instantly like how they do it in the anime. So then they end up, there's like a third movie where he basically goes and does other stuff before he, like, on his last days, basically, you know, like he's doing good and whatnot. Like, you have to check it out. It's pretty good. And the CGI is shitty, but if you want to compare it to the American one, it's like, it's a perfect movie. They're perfect movies compared to it.
Yeah, I mean, my if you've never seen it, because Freddie says that he's never seen it, my recommendation would 100% to be start with the anime and then kind of stick with the anime, especially if you don't have access to the Japanese live action, because the American live action, again, 2 really good performances, but just didn't do it justice and kind of put a bad taste in the mouth for the anime. Yeah, so Death Note, great topic. Not horror exactly, but super well done anime, kind of mystery, and definitely serial killer esque. So
and suicides all over. So
yeah. So let's get into our real life killers. We have an option today. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about both of them, but we can either talk about the little girl murderer, or we can talk about the gentleman. Maybe take a little suicide break and not talk about the gentleman who prompted people into suicide. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's talk about the little girl killer.
Because that's better, right?
I mean, it's not better. It's just our suicide theme, I think, is kind of taking over a little bit.
No, I know.
Dracula musical.
And when I see Van Helsing, I swear to the Lord,
he watched anime. He watched a lot of Death Note. That's serial killer.
Yeah, he did.
The Miyazaki did, or Shiraishi?
Miyazaki.
Ishii?
Yeah, so Miyazaki actually watched like a lot of all sorts of anime, and it sparked the same way how like in America, like when Eminem sparked the whole parental advisory debate, and people were like, it's telling our children to commit suicide and to kill people. This is what Miyazaki did, where just because he was an anime fan and he was a fan of a lot of pop culture stuff in Japan, when he was found to have killed and cannibalized and raped post-mortem these young girls, they blamed all of that anime stuff, and they tried to start a moral debate. Jude, you seem to know your Miyazaki. Do you want to talk to the people about him or what you know about him?
I mean, I know some of the basics on this guy as far as just to, like, what they found in his house, like, as far as his collection. I think the thing that not fascinated me, but it was, like, the whole vampire stuff was kind of weird, man.
Yeah, fuck it.
What do you mean?
I mean, well, just he would save, like, the body, well, because he was he was into that cannibalism and like, some of that vampiric stuff. Did you catch up on a lot of that stuff, Josh? On the vampire?
So he was a cannibal, but he was also a necrophiliac and considered himself a vampire. So with what they found with the girls on the medical exams afterwards was that he was killing them first, and honestly, luckily was killing them first because what he was doing afterwards was obviously horrific. So at least they didn't have to suffer through those things, even though it was still disgusting, obviously. But he would drain their blood like Dexter, basically, like hang them upside down and drain their blood.
Jeez.
And he would fuck their bodies, their dead bodies. And then he would eat their bodies, parts of their bodies, because he kept a lot of stuff. He kept teeth, and he kept body parts, and he kept kind of Ed Gein-esque, kept a lot of really weird shit, and I mean, it was pretty goddamn fucked up.
I saw on some reports that he even drank some of their blood, and that's why he refers to him as a Dracula part. And the only person he ever got along with in his life was his grandfather, and that he actually ate some of his grandfather's ashes when he had died because he wanted his grandfather to always be a part of him.
That's fucking gross.
His younger sisters or kind of like, how can you say, they like rejected him, and that's because like, I mean, he used to watch them showering and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw that he had got caught watching his sister shower, and they brought it up to him, and instead of like apologizing, he just beat their ass.
Yeah, so something was clearly always wrong with him, and that's the thing. They talk about it when in regard to the suicide force as well. Part of the reason that suicide is so prominent in Japan is because mental illness still has such a gigantic stigma, and there isn't the treatment that's being accepted in a lot of other parts of the world. Of course, there's a mental illness stigma everywhere, but in Japan it's still particularly bad. And this guy just, at every corner, when someone had an opportunity to help him or to, maybe steer him from a path that was ultimately leading to this terrible, terrible tragedy, people just kicked him while he was down. And
he didn't
so
really grow up with a bad life either.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, his dad owned a paper. It was like a newspaper company or some sort like that, and then.
But
it's not like he was growing up getting beat or anything like that. It was just.
You said that they would kick him when he was down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not beat him, but like they just never. No one ever accepted him, loved him, tried to help him at all.
So kind of like how I'm about to kick Jesus right now when he's down because I just escaped.
Oh, what a segue! What a perfectly done segue.
Perfectly. What are you talking about, Step Bro?
Oh no!
So everybody that joined us late, Jesus lost a bet that a certain photo on our Instagram at Death by Daylight would not get 50 likes, and it's a photo of him being drunk and passed out. He said if it gets 50 likes, he'd get that drunk again. Well, thank you to everybody listening. It got 50 likes. Now that I escaped, he has to take 2 shots. But
so Jesus is going to take his 2 shots. You at home, if you'd like to take one, you can take 2 shots. I mean, I'm not your parent, but if you want to take a shot, I'm going to take a shot with Jesus. Also, we're going to take a shot, I'm going to take 1 shot for all of this. But for the survival, for Ernie surviving, that's the way the game works. We take a shot when we survive. So Jesus is going to take 2. Why don't you take your first one without us, Jesus, and then you can take that second one with us. Jude, are you drinking tonight?
I am. I'm having me one of those natter days, you know?
hell
God
yeah.
damn it, that sounds amazing. I fucking love Natterday.
But I'll be chasing with some fucking Eagle Rare here.
Of course.
Eagle Rare. That's Jude's favorite bourbon. Well, we don't mention a lot of other bourbons on this show because we want Bullet to sponsor us, but it's a pretty good bourbon. Are you already done with your first one, Jesus? Are you ready to load up again there, bud?
Yeah.
Ready to load up again there, bud?
Let's do this.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Let's fucking go there, bud. Cheers to everybody at home. Here is to the Suicide Forest. Cheers.
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 I also want to let you guys know that Jesus got real cucked on that one because I think the killer was AFK, so we just finished the gens and all got out.
Damn.
My stomach hurts.
Hey,
Freddie.
so,
Freddie says, "Damn, that dude was sick. Was a sick fuck. Yes, he was. And shots.
God.
There will be more, Freddie. Hopefully, Ernie's gonna play another killer or survivor. What are you gonna do here, bud?
I'm doing another Survivor one.
Oh, you don't want to get wrecked again on fucking killer.
No, just because
Jesus.
I mean, the first one I got wrecked, yes, but that last Survivor match was just boring. No kill. I didn't see the killer at all.
So, real quick, guys, as far as on that serial killer, did you guys happen to read up on his personalities? Because I didn't get to finish up on that. Because I know that he had, like... I know that from what I had read that he was trying to blame his killer. Like, that basically was another personality that was telling him to go out and kill.
So he was
And I know
schizo.
he was also... that he would get made fun of. But I didn't keep up on the, like... what his personalities were trying to get him to do,
Oh crap!
or how they formed.
I didn't see that part, but the part that threw me off is he was executed in 2008, and
My
he was
birthday.
hung. He was hung.
Ugh.
Hanged.
Like I didn't.
He had a big dick, or he was hanged.
No. I'm talking about his dick.
He was hung like what?
He was executed, and right before
You know
they
what I
killed
took
him,
away from
they
all
pulled
of
his
this? You had a
pants
pretty
down.
big dick.
Dude, 2018, you're not hanging people ananymore.
You're not gonna
my
come back from that
God.
one, bud.
Wait, you said 2018 or 2008?
Yeah, you're right. 2008.
I mean, either one is still very damn modern. So I think.
You got lucky because they were supposed to. He was supposed to get hanged in freaking '98, I think.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So he
I'm
had
not
that.
even gonna make this
But they're-
comment. Never
They're
mind.
like, we'll throw an
Dexter call
extra 10
his-
since you're hung.
He had
Nice
a
dick,
dark
bro. Have some
passenger
more life.
basically.
Nice dick. Get more use.
Moving the fuck on. From our well hung serial killer.
Can you even tell if he was hung? Because you know Japanese porn is all fucking blurred out.
Jesus is drunk.
Yeah, I mean it is very pixelated down there for them.
He said that he owned like over 500 pornography videos, and that was one thing that he would complain about is that it was very pixelated and they would block out all the good stuff.
And that's why he was so mad and decided to kill people, or
I don't know if that's why he's tried to kill people, but
so Suicide Club. So Suicide Club, going back into horror, Japan horror movies, and The Forest is not a Japanese horror movie. It's an American horror movie that takes place in Japan. Huge difference, and the reason why we need to talk about J-horror is because it absolutely is its own thing, separated from American horror, separated from English horror, and Korean horror, very different. Korean horror being my favorite of foreign films, but Japanese horror,
Scary.
yeah, and J-horror is a lot more brutal, I think, than scary, but it's also speaks a lot to the societal problems. There's a lot of underlying messages in J-horror that you just don't find in every single American horror movie, that you don't find in a lot of Korean horror. And so this movie specifically, we're talking about Suicide Club. If you've never seen it, it essentially is it's a B movie. And when we say that, we just mean that it's not super high production. There's a lot of gore. It's mostly about shock value and those kinds of things. The basic premise being... Yeah, so the first scene in the movie, 54 schoolgirls jump onto a train track in front of a train, and they're all run over, and there's just blood everywhere. And the movie's kind of hard to follow. We're not going to get super into the plot, but essentially a pop group, liken them to Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, what have you, in Japan, is they open the movie with this pop group, they close the movie with this pop group, and in between there is a lot of suicide. A couple of nurses kill themselves. There's suicides going on in a school. One of the main protagonists' boyfriend kills himself. I apologize for my loud ass dog in the background. And so there's just a lot of suicide, a lot of. But what it's commenting on is eventually you find out that this Japanese group is getting people to kill themselves with subliminal messages in their songs. They're not hypnotizing them. They're not none of that. It's just people being so devoted to this pop group that they do what they're told and they kill themselves. And you find out that they're making hand signs that are communicating that these people should kill themselves if they're dedicated to the pop group. The most famous scenes, besides that opening scene, are the school killings where everyone's killing themselves inside the school, but also the sex dungeon where they find the protagonist thinks that she's stumbled upon the leader of the suicide club, and she finds him in what he calls his pleasure palace, where there are a bunch of women and young men and animals that are in what are essentially giant pillowcases, and all of them are meant to be raped and then killed for the pleasure of these people.
Wait.
And go ahead.
Like, the animals get raped too?
It's heavily... You don't see it, but you do hear a lot of really disgusting animal noises, like animals in distress. And he does talk about how everything in the pillowcases are for their pleasure. So you don't see it, but it's very heavily implied that they rape the animals as well.
Like what kind of animal?
Which is right on brand for us. So
like dogs and pigs or
Did you
what?
say what kind of animals? I heard pig noises in the
dude,
movie.
pigs, monkeys, dogs, cats, birds.
It's like a fucking. It's like a rape. It's like an
We almost got away with not talking about that.
Yeah.
Oh, we were always going to talk about it, Juan.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Pink 90 says, "Damn, I don't know what y'all are talking about, but it sounds like a party."
Well, it is a animal rape party. No, I'm just
Okay.
Well,
Very
no.
clever, Jesus.
No.
So if you can go on YouTube, you don't have to watch the whole movie. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it with subtitles and everything, but you can go watch just that scene, and it's pretty hard to watch. First, I'm just one of those people that has a harder time thinking about an animal suffering than a person being killed. So it's very hard to watch
You know
and
what?
to listen to.
the biggest shock factor in that one specific scene where you're talking about, as far as where they're at that I guess sex dungeon or whatever, and he's trying to rape
Go
everything. He busts out in song. Like, I was not expecting that at all.
So you find that less shocking than when he stomped on that dog's face till it died, and
Yes.
or when he's raping and killing that girl.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
Okay, all right. So
have
don't
you
take us
seen-
to a musical.
have you not seen A Clockwork Orange? Like,
No, look, because like the whole movie, everyone's killing themselves, everything's fucking weird, and then out of nowhere, it's just fucking, all right, we're gonna bust out in the song right here.
well, I mean,
And he,
Why does that
Singing in
remind me of The
rain.
Simpsons so much? Where there's like a video of these girls singing, and they're saying "Join the Navy" but backwards.
Dude, that's a great Simpsons episode.
With or something.
Yeah. And if this was a Simpsons podcast, we would talk about it more. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's a great reference. So he breaks out into song, but it goes with the theme, Jesus, because the whole thing is like talking about how we give in too much to trends and how people will just
Damn it.
blindly follow a trend instead of
Come on,
thinking
Ernie.
for themselves, and instead of preserving their life or their family or whatever it is that you have to preserve, you would rather just go blindly follow these people for whatever reason. And that's why that guy breaks into song, because he's trying to continue that theme. But go check it out, Suicide Club. There's not a lot of other stuff to say about it because we'd have to do a whole episode just trying to explain the intricacies of the plot. But Oryx, yeah, he just asked what movie and then said, never mind. Yeah, it's called Suicide Club. You can watch it on YouTube for free with English subtitles. It is incredibly graphic if you didn't pick that up by now. Talk
about the skin belt. It's fucking creep me out.
Yeah, so the nurses are flayed. They are separated from their skins after they kill themselves, and there is a belt. I think the guy's wearing it, right? The lead singer, when they go into the sex dungeon?
I want to say so, yeah. It was fucking weird.
Yeah. So, I mean, just a lot of really graphic stuff, but definitely a movie worth watching, and one of the early J-horror movies out there. It's not like here where Americans have been making horror movies since God knows when, at least the late 60s, but even way before that if you're counting Nosferatu and all that stuff. And even Koreans were making horror movies way before the Japanese, just because of their culture and things like that. And so a very intricate part of the horror movie scene that would eventually come in Japan. And so go check that out. And like I said, the only reason we're not getting more into it is because the plot is so intricate that it would take forever to talk about. But we have a couple more things that we're going to try to talk about. We still have plenty of time, so there's no reason to rush. But we did the research, so we might as well get there eventually. And the first of those things is going to be our second serial killer, and going back to our suicide theme. I wish I had a soundboard because I would use the real siren instead of just doing it. But
you would use a soundboard for suicide.
If I killed myself, this would play.
It's our theme. Oh, we could keep the music theme going, Juan. That's an excellent point. If you were gonna kill yourself to a song, what would it be? Mine is Jesus Christ by Brand New.
I would ask for some extra time, and I would use I Admit It by R. Kelly. It's a 19-minute song. I admit that I did it.
I couldn't kill myself to that song because that song makes me want to live. Jude, suicide song, go.
Welcome to the Jungle. Do that.
Jesus Christ.
You're gonna die!
You're gonna die, baby!
Love it. Juan, suicide song, go.
For some odd reason, I don't know why, it would be Light in the Glass by Coheed and Cambria.
Dude, what a fucking great choice.
Because, and I won't go into detail, but when I was a teenager, I almost did die, and that song was the last song I was hearing before I thought I was going to. And, well, fortunately, I survived. We'll talk about that another time, but...
Did you say, unfortunately, I survived?
No, he said fortunately.
Oh,
very,
shit.
We're not playing
dark.
that song around you anymore, though.
Yeah,
No,
very
that
dark stuff.
It's, I love that song, though. It's a good song.
Dude, that's a fantastic song.
I feel like that's...
Fantastic band.
Yeah,
I feel like I feel like anytime I hear Welcome to the Jungle, I'm like, fuck, call Jude. See if he's okay. Call this fucking guy.
Jude, you alive?
Ernie, I know you're playing, but do you want to give your suicide song?
My suicide song would first be Jesus Take a Shot. And second, it would probably be like something by Juice WRLD.
Something by Juice WRLD.
Well, that's not the name of the song, but...
No, yeah, I got you.
By Keith Sweat.
What is that song from Silence of the Lambs? The one that Buffalo Bill dances to in the mirror?
Goodbye Horses by Q Lazarus.
Dude, that girl has her own story, by the way. Like, she just dropped off the face of the earth for a while.
Q Lazarus?
Yeah, it was a lady, some lady, and
what? I thought it was a mains.
Yeah. Look up Q Lazarus and Goodbye Horses. Yes.
So funny thing about that song is, I remember one time I used to do music back in the day, and my fucking song came out on the radio.
I didn't mean to do that.
And people were calling me left and right trying to tell me, and I was ignoring it because I was watching Silence of the Lambs and that fucking Q Lazarus. I'm like, answer my phone during this fucking jam right now. Dude. This is a fucking bop.
Okay. Also, Jesus, check your goddamn connection. You keep cutting out.
Yeah, I noticed that. All right.
So next we're
Anyway,
gonna be
here's my shot right here.
Yes, please. We're going to be talking about the Zama Suicide Pact slayings. And this was multiple homicide occurring in Zama, Japan, November 2017, in which 9 people, mostly young women, including 3 high school girls, were killed by a 27-year-old man, Takahiro Shiraishi. So he was, this is pretty bad, but also incredibly interesting. So he was living in an apartment in Zama in Tokyo. So it's basically like saying he lives in New York City, but in like Brooklyn specifically, it's a part of Tokyo, Zama. So he put out an advertisement asking people to come to his house and so that they could watch him kill himself. Opposite. He invited them over so that he could watch them commit suicide, offered to assist them to kill themselves, and this is like a long history. He has a long history of this kind of shit where he would do weird stuff like this, but he had never actually followed through on it until this happened. Unfortunately, very little is known about whether those people went there because they were curious, whether they went there because they all legitimately wanted to die, whether they went there because for whatever reason but they are considered murdered by him. They are not considered suicide deaths. They are considered 9 murders by this man. And so this reminds us a lot of the Kool-Aid with Jim Jones. This reminds us a lot of the Heaven's Gate suicides. This reminds us a little bit of Waco with David Berkowitz. Is that his goddamn name? No, that's
David
Son of
Koresh.
Sam.
Correct.
David Koresh.
Correct. Yeah.
So, you know, kind of a cult thing, but it's not like these people were following this guy for a long time. Just from one day to the next, they see this flyer. 9 people end up dead. Holy fuck. What are your guys' thoughts?
I would say he has a great sales pitch.
What a salesman he is.
I work in sales, so I'm gonna say this man is pretty convincing.
And you convince
Insane.
people to kill themselves.
What year did this happen in?
This happened in 2017.
Well, so my question is, like, he posted that, like, on something like Craigslist, right?
Actually, I think it was a physical flyer. Like, I think it was like a legitimate, just like a regular thing that he posted, like on a Starbucks board somewhere or something.
You pull off a number, like, if you want to kill yourself, here's a little number. Pull it off. Just take it home.
If you're trying to join a band at fucking Guitar Center,
Let's see what shows are going on tonight.
See, how would you guys see that? Would you see it, like, if somebody legitimately wants to kill himself, right? And they ask, hey, I want to be shot in the head.
Uh-huh.
They go and you know, a hitman goes out there, shoots him in the head. Would they be held accountable for it? I mean, I guess yes,
But yeah,
murder,
it's
right?
assisted
It is.
suicide.
It's murder. But I don't know. I don't know. Never mind. I'm done. I'm not gonna talk about it.
So here, I got you guys to say what you initially thought, so I could hit you with a little bit of an M. Night Shyamalan twist. When one of the brothers noticed that his sister was missing after about 12 hours, which is before anyone else noticed anyone else was missing, they eventually lead themselves right to his apartment. They find the police show up. He immediately is like, he doesn't fight them. He's like, oh yeah, the bodies are in the freezer. So he had cut up and frozen all 9 bodies, and dismembered and whatever else, all within that very short time span. I think it was about 24 hours before they found him. And he told his dad, they used his dad to help coerce a confession and that kind of stuff. In the interview, he told his dad that his life had no meaning and that his motivation was sex. And he wanted to get his victims into a vulnerable state to manipulate and sexually assault them, fulfilling his fantasies, not having to worry about them denying his advances. So a lot of really mixed stories here. Were these people there to commit suicide? Even then, how do you get 9 people into your apartment at the same time? How do you convince them that this is what's going to happen, or that this is what you want to happen? Did he have sex with them before they died? Did he have sex with them after? And just a really, really bizarre story that we don't get from Jim Jones, that we don't get from Heaven's Gate, that we certainly don't get from David Koresh, although there's some weird stuff there too. And so does that change it for you? Did all the facts after, does it change whether you think they committed suicide or not?
So, honestly, I feel like he had part in killing them.
We know he killed them. God damn it!
Well, I mean, I just want to say they were very vulnerable. The fact that he got 9 people to go over and I can't even get a text back.
I mean,
I would hire him.
I see. It's. I don't even know like how those people got there. Like, how do we even know that those were the 9 people that even took the things, and those weren't just people he was kidnapping over time? You know what I mean? And,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's so many different things, and it's answers that we'll never know, because I guarantee you, there's so many different things that like. I don't trust what these people are saying once they get caught, because they knew they were getting caught, and I think that they want to be like perceived as these mastermind manipulators, and like you know what I mean. Like they kind of if you're going out like and you know you're gonna get caught, you're gonna kind of want to give yourself some. You want to
have some fucking yeah. You want to go out. So, you want to make people think it was at least cool, or you know what I mean, instead of just super lame.
Yeah, I got these 9 people manipulated, brought them over to my place, and they let me kill them one by one. Like, no, bro. Like, that's
well, and so the only reason that you would think that they all got there at similar times, at least, was because they all went missing basically at the same time. Like, so it wasn't like one guy was missing for months and then these girls were missing. First of all, 3 out of the 9 victims were schoolgirls that knew each other. Like, they all went there together, apparently. But he was seen walking in some kind of camera, or some witness saw him walking with one of those girls months before it happened. So there is a possibility that he got one of the girls to lure the other 2 girls in there. But the other victims are largely unconnected. One of the most, just a lot of mystery around this particular incident, a lot of intrigue.
He's the one where the girl like hid under the bed, and that's how he got caught, right? Like he didn't know she was there.
No. He got caught because a brother noticed that his sister was missing and did his own investigation.
Oh, okay.
And found this guy. Yeah.
Damn.
Also, I got 3 kills, so that means y'all take a shot, and Jesus takes 3.
Oh,
damn.
We're doing that.
Hey. You'll still be alive, right?
Jesus, mix the shots, buddy. Don't take straight stuff.
I'm taking 3 bullet shots right now. All right.
Oh my God,
I hear that. I just hear that tone of voice happening.
That means that we're definitely not going to hang out after this.
That means J Texas is on its way.
Virtually, of course. People don't. We're social distancing. I meant hang out on the internet.
All right, let's cheer.
And then also
cheers
hang out
to,
for Jesus' head over the couch. And just
fucking Heather's gonna have to deal with his fucking
end table catches it.
Wait, who is he killing again?
You're killing yourself by taking those damn 3 shots.
Dude, please don't take 3 shots of bullet. I'm fucking serious.
I'm taking 3 shots right now. All right.
Oh.
Now, are we talking about the first or the second killer? Because if we're talking about the first killer, cheers to necrophilia. All right.
What?
Sure.
All right.
Love it.
So let's
right
go.
On brand.
If you had to commit necrophilia, go. Who would it be?
Okay.
So let's reframe this question to who would you fuck who's dead?
Yeah. It sounds nicer.
Yeah, it does sound
Mary
nicer.
Magdalene.
All right. Ready? Cheers. Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Does anyone have an answer right off the bat? Because I got to think about
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe. Very prominent answer. Juan, you're also going Mary Magdalene?
Yes, I will do the same.
Oh wow!
What the
cool.
fuck? Was she
Hey, high
hot?
five, bro. Jesus was hitting it. What do you mean? She was a babe.
I actually think he was hitting it, but that doesn't make her hot. He was a super nice guy,
I know.
very
You
charitable.
don't know.
That's
You don't
true.
know.
That's the cool part. It's like a random box. You know how like when you're in like a little like that Mario Kart shit. Sometimes you come out with a red turtle and you're like, fuck yeah, or you come out with a fucking banana. Fuck that shit. But if she's a banana, it's still cool because Jesus with it.
Everybody at home, what are you guys drinking? Because Jesus is probably gonna tap out soon.
I'm gonna go with Joan of Arc. Oh no, she was very
Damn.
young. She was very young. No, scratch that.
No.
I take that back.
That's the spirit of.
Doesn't
that
Mila
serial killer.
Jovovich play her in the movie?
Yeah.
Well,
there
Mila
you go.
Jovovich is hot, but she's not dead.
Oh, and so did what's her name played her? Fucking Ashton Kutcher's ex.
Mila Kunis. Oh no,
No,
Demi
not
Moore.
her. Demi Moore
Demi Moore,
played
yeah.
fucking Joan of Arc, I believe.
She's
Dude,
also
I
not
can't
dead.
think of any. I can't think of any dead rockets. Like I'm just totally blanking.
Henny
What
Dead
about Brittany
Rock.
Murphy?
Oh, that's a
man.
fucking great one,
That is
Jesus.
pretty good.
That's a
Yeah.
fucking great one. What a fucking rocket was she?
I
She
would
was
say,
beautiful.
Selena.
Oh my god, that's
Nice.
even better, dude. That's
So Freddie is saying that we all need professional help, and that he's finishing up the last of his daiquiri style drink that he blended. Well, Freddie, who would you fuck that's dead?
yeah. Before, don't throw
Male
stones
or
in from glass
female?
I
houses.
would
Alright.
fuck Mandy Moore's career.
Holy shit.
Freddie says he tapped Murphy. I mean, who wouldn't, buddy?
Yeah.
But
Especially
for sure,
that scene where she's,
Selena for me.
She
That
tapped
scene where
herself
she's
with that
hanging in
overdose.
Girl Interrupted. Oh man,
Jesus Christ.
kidding.
I was thinking
satire.
more of when she's banging Eminem in 8 Mile, but sure.
Damn. Remember when she was Ty and fucking Clueless? Or am I the only guy that's seen Clueless?
No, I've seen Clueless, but she was really ugly in Clueless.
Yeah,
She
she
was actually
was.
What
very
did we
hot
talk
in
about Mary
Spun too.
Magdalene, man? Come on.
In Spun,
She's
she was
up there
pretty
with
hot
Jesus
too.
now. Freaking.
In what? She was hot?
Spun? Is that what it's called?
Oh.
The one where she's
I
like a
don't know.
meth head?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Fun.
For,
Yeah,
for
fun.
me, it's gonna
It is
be
fun.
Selena. That was a fucking amazing idea because she what a rocket. All right, now we've talked about fucking dead people.
What
Alright,
about that
so-
porn star that killed herself like
Ooh.
2 years ago? What's her name?
Oryx the Nobody says Aaliyah.
Nice.
What a fucking
Damn.
Right.
yes,
Fuck
my
Oryx,
goodness.
yes.
But we have to think.
Aaliyah
if we're
and
saying
how-
necrophilia,
at
we
what
have to fuck
age?
them in their dead state.
Over 18,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bro. What?
Did you really ask? Did you
Oh,
seriously
God.
just ask that
Why? What
question?
age
Like
did you have
young
sex, bro?
Aaliyah or
You know what?
Legal or not?
If we were asking R.
God
Kelly,
damn.
he would have said 13. All right.
Well, it's a good thing we're not asking R. Kelly, okay?
He had,
I would fuck on
There's a
Aaliyah,
reason why he has a bunch of sexual charges against him.
but only when she's really fucking young.
R. Kelly was on his yacht. Aaliyah's like 13. He hears Rock the Boat. I mean, that's not a very accurate presentation. She wasn't 13, but he's just like, damn, this motherfucker's spitting.
Be my number 2. Ooh, girl, I love you.
Hell yeah, Freddie.
If you've never heard "Be My Number 2" by R. Kelly, do yourself a fucking favor and listen to that song.
Freddie, another regular night here at Death by Daylight. Hell yeah, buddy.
Yeah, this one's gone a little out of hand, but we were going to talk about a movie called Audition, but I'm going to pull an audible here and just nix that. We've covered a lot of ground tonight, and I just don't want to try to stuff this in here at the back end of it.
Like
but-
R. Kelly with his. I'm just not going to say
Oh
that.
my god.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, some girls did not survive R. Kelly, and this episode might not either.
any of them Japanese.
Aaliyah at what age?
But so just because we're not going to talk about it doesn't mean that it isn't a super important part of J horror. Again, the director is a prolific. He's made over 100 films. Think about that. I think he's only like 49 or 50, and he's made a fucking 100 films. So go check that movie out if you get a chance. It's called Audition. You can watch it on YouTube, but there's no subtitles, so
One thing
it's really not worth it.
That I do want to say though is like, I know people are listening. They're probably like, "Why are they not talking about The Ring? Why are they not talking about The Grudge?" And there's a reason that we decided not to talk about that today, is because there's way too many movies on that, and I feel like we can have a whole episode strictly on that. So we're gonna save that for a later time.
Yeah, the Ring is such an important part of J horror. The Grudge is such an important part, and honestly, I'm not the biggest Grudge fan. I get it. I get why people love it. But the Ring was fucking terrifying. And the Japanese version of The Ring for me is scarier than the American version.
But we'll save this one.
Yeah, we'll save it. We'll get into it. We do have a theme for next week that we're going to tease now.
Rape. It's rape.
Oh my god.
If you again down in the comments, you can tell us what you're drinking. You can tell Jesus that he's a fucking alcoholic. Fucking can't hold his goddamn liquor, piece of shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, what Jamel Laura says, just subscribe.
Subscribe, like, hit us up on
all that good
stuff. Turn your notifications on so you know. We are here at the same time every week, 10 p.m., give or take 5 minutes, Mountain Time. We are going to keep doing this even though the country and the city and the state is opening up. We are committed to being here every Friday night and bringing you Death by Daylight. So next week we have Charlie Manson. We're going to be covering Charlie Manson while Ernie plays as Legion. And we are going to be we're going to kind of do cults. We may just do the Manson family, though, because if you talk about the Manson family, you can talk about the actual facts. You can talk about Charlie Manson on Mindhunter. You can talk about the events in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So there's a lot to cover with the Manson family, but we're going to decide if we're going to do more cults or just them, and while Ernie plays Legion. And we will have another bartender on doing another drink. We will have, if you didn't hear the drink this week, go back and listen. We had Maddie Ice Cold on telling us about both lunchboxes and snack decks. You can make yourself those for next week. I promise you won't be disappointed. They are delicious. And I think that's about it. Any other cleanup we can think of, boys, besides Jesus?
Y'all don't want to talk about me, huh? Because I'm drunk.
Thank you to everybody that liked the picture. This is all because of you. Say hi, Jesus.
I'm fucked up, guys.
That's what we like to hear. Definitely helps us out if you can, again, I know it sounds like we're begging, and we are. If you can like, subscribe, and then go follow us on social media and help us out there. It helps us out. It keeps us going. And spread the word. Tell people if you're having a good time and we're helping you through the quarantine or just through life in general, make sure you let people know. So I'm going to give everybody an opportunity. Let's take one more shot, boys. Yeah, because we didn't take that many. Not Jesus, though.
I'll take a shot.
Jesus. No.
I'm going to take a shot. If
Take
you
a
want me to
swig.
take a shot, let me see you raise your hand.
Nope, nobody's raised their hands.
Nobody raised their hands.
I see 10 people.
No, but we actually didn't take a shot when we were supposed to at the end of the last killing game because we were so focused on Jesus not dying. So we'll take one last shot here and then we'll all say goodbye because we've gone at about our limit. Cheers, everybody. Cheers to Japan. Cheers to the land of the rising sun here, boys.
Hashtag
Cheers
Sushi
to
Boys.
blurred out pornos.
Sure. And hashtag Sushi Boys. Cheers.
Oh,
Cheers.
fuck that bullet. Oh.
Fuck that bullet. That's going to be a song I'm going to write tomorrow. Everybody say goodbye, and then we'll sign off.
Bye.
Laters.
Fuck the free world.
313. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks everybody for listening today.